All right, let's do this. So it's Monday, and today was annoying. Yep, I'm gonna annoy. I'm not in a terrible mood. Well, partly for personal reasons, but it was an annoying day, right? One, the market opened up, but you're like, okay, the gains aren't gonna hold, which of course they didn't. But the annoying thing was seeing silver up. I mean, it's up 3% in the morning. It cooled back. Well, I mean, really just trended sideways, choppy for a couple of hours, and then it kind of leaned upwards in the end of the day. Silver, well, officially SLV settled up 3.6%, $2.01 to 58.11. I mean, it does leave. We do have an unresolved downside gap. Of course, there's that gap, purple gap there, which is completely untagged. I mean, then you could say the same about orange gap, all the way down in the 49s, which is it's almost it's about 18% down. We're not going to drop 18%, right? So it's like forget that one. Even purple gap in the 53s. I mean, it's possible. I would certainly say that if silver breaks above 58.56 and holds above it, then purple gap also has to get scrubbed off. Um, the one hope for people looking to buy back, yours truly included, is that the main market looks bearish for Tuesday. Let's jump to an S&P daily. So second day lower. Friday was rough day, right? And today's only down a little bit, but we're we have a slightly rounded top here, and you got to think the 50-day 67.63. That's easily possible. We could be printing the 50-day tomorrow. The only issue then is, well, month or daily momentum. Look at this. Daily momentum is due to turn negative at the Tuesday open in theory. I think we're going to gap down. We could even gap down to the 50-day or even below it. If we do trade under the 50-day, and it's like, we got to wonder. I mean, I have someone out there I follow quietly who's looking for broad downside into a OPEX on Friday, of course, to around 66.60, I think. But cyclically, um, it definitely leans bearish for Tuesday, which of course we'll see the BLS jobs data, and that would be the excuse for a down day. I mean, look at this chart. You could also argue that, hey, what are we setting up here? What is this? What is all this? What is this? What is this? A left shoulder, and that's we have a marginal double top, double head, and we're going to roll over and come back down to say 65.50, and then bounce again into across January to 60. I mean, I got low confidence in that, but in theory, Tuesday should open red. You can quote me on that tomorrow if we're up 50 points on the jobs data. That would really annoy me because if the market gaps up tomorrow, bloody silver will go up again, and I'm not on board that train. I just can't. In fact, we jump to silver on a 15-minute, which I haven't even looked at once today. So on an hourly momentum for silver is fractionally positive. So you could argue we could roll over again and go down, and in theory we could go down all the way into Wednesday. We could tag purple gap. That would really um confuse a lot of people, but you know today's action sure as hell isn't bearish. And then if you look at a 15-minute, I mean, look at that. On a 15-minute, we're actually fractionally negative. You could argue we're gonna gap up and break a new historic high on Tuesday morning. I tell you, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed I didn't pick up something on Friday afternoon because I could have done that, right? Actually, look at um yeah, look at this. If I was gonna buy on Friday, I should have been buying around 12 o'clock when silver was around. Well, SLV was around 55.50, and it would have churned mostly flat for the rest of the day. And I will say, if I was long silver, I would have sold at the open without any question. I would have bailed. I would have run because you see another black candle there on Friday, which really played out. Today's candle did it played out for literally 15 minutes. Very frustrating. Not making lose actually it's this twisted thing to say, but losing money is almost less it's less annoying than actually not making money. Actually, now rephrase that. Not making money is anyway. Anyway, this is annoying me. I mean, look, silver's got plenty of upside, but you're not going to capture every wave. But and you could even argue there's an inverse head and shoulders there. If that's the left shoulder, right shoulder, head neckline is around 58, 56. You know, stick $3 on top of that, that gives you 61s uh, within a day or two. That would be very annoying. Moving on, I will say though that gold was not as annoying. Uh, Friday had a black candle. Today's candle was black, leaned bearish for Tuesday. So that's one little hope for me to get in and buy on a drop tomorrow on an hourly chart. GLD. Look at the volume. It's pretty heavy. Yeah, especially Friday morning. The momentum's marginally negative. There's plenty of downside. You can see the MACD line was down around here, so it could easily come down tomorrow. We could easily drop for GLD back to say 391. So we could drop $40, right? $40. Yeah, that's realistic tomorrow. What else? Let's jump to Costco on a daily. I know one of my readers. The irony is that this guy probably is not doesn't ever listen to me anyway. Oh, Ryan. I mean, look, Costco down 2.7%. What's that? 860 on volume of 4.7 million. Yeah, fractionally lower than Friday's volume. Nothing good there though, right? I mean, that's you can actually see, was it Friday's candle? Friday's candle was a spiky reversal, which did play it. We were fractionally up this morning, but then we had the sellers came in, and you got to think on a let's pull the chart out a couple of years. I mean, look, this is the lowest level since August of 24. What's the next support? 787. Yeah. From a technical perspective, it's not pretty, right? We're under the 200 day, under the 50 day. If I go back, you can actually see. Look at where we stalled. Look at where we keep stalling. Stall at the 50 day. Stall at the 50 day. Stall. Stall. There's a stall at the 200 day. But yeah, these stalls are pretty bearish. You also have an upside gap there that hasn't been filled. This isn't great. All right, what else? Hmm. Apple down 1.5%. That's a bearish engulfing candle. That's bearish for Tuesday. Archer Aviation down 5.5%. No particular news there. Okay, so yeah, some of the miners were weak. So silver was strong, gold was somewhat higher, but off the highs. Yeah, you have Black Candle and Agnico Eagle. What about Barrick Gold? Let's just jump straight to that. I haven't got time to cover all of these things. Barrick Gold. Okay, new historic high. It closed up 0.6%, but that's also a black candle. Leans bearish for Tuesday. Bitmine. Ooh, that's painful. See, when I see that, that makes me feel less bad about not being long silver, because at least I'm not stupid enough to be meddling in this right now. I'll be the first to say at some point it has value. You can see the buyers came in at 24, bought it to 46, and they sold it again at the 50-day, and now we're back to 30 again. You gotta wonder if the Bitcoin train comes off the rails. It's just you gotta think $15, which of course is 50% down. All right, what else is there? Hmm, like Google. Yeah, I mean, you see yellow gaps been filled. Not much to save there. Heckler mining, little silver miner. See, even that black candle only closed up 3 cents. That's bearish for Tuesday. Oh yeah, JP Morgan of course did print a new historic high today, but that settled with it wasn't a black candle, but I'm sure none of you, apart from me, care about KKR. Nobody cares about Kinder Morgan. Lockheed, prime defense company, up. Look at that. Why is this going up? I mean, you know why, right? Trump, Venezuela. And look, when this thing starts going up, it can go up for a couple of months straight up. And look at where the support is, the 10 of May. So it can come down for a day or two, and that's not going to dent the short-term bullish trend, which I think we're going to take out 512 on Venezuela, and then we go to like 550, 560. I think there's a good 60, $70 upside in this one. I'm not long, but he'd be arguably a madman to try and short that. Can't be bearish with defense stocks. That's a real mess. Look at that. Look at that candle on Friday. Spiky from Gap, 50-day, 200-day. Today's candle is not black, but it's not great either. Palantir, Michael Berry's uh, most notable short. Fractionally down, mostly, yeah, just in line with the main market. Tesla had a strong day. I'm a look, up 3.5%, 475s. The all-time high is 488. This valuation is absolutely insane. This is stupid. The car market is imploding. The consumer is broken. This is stupid. That's not going to end well. A couple of stocks that come into mind relating to a video I did yesterday. Yeah, United Health. So that was to stand a touch, but look, 341. In fact, look at actually where it stalled recently, which is 344 on Friday, which is a major resistance on a monthly chart. Not this one, but it could cool for a couple of days. It's not going to make any difference. I'm bullish this. I think this is absolutely going to go to 472 green gap. Not in January, probably in February or March. Maybe it takes until April. It does, to people buying the stock, it shouldn't matter. But I keep looking at the call chain, and I am interested. The other one that came out when I was doing a video yesterday was Deckers. Um, on a daily, it doesn't look like much, but I mean, yeah, look, it's short-term overbought, right? RSI 72. It's but that today's candle is actually a hammer candle, just below the 200-day. Wow, this could actually break out tomorrow. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Actually there's two gaps of note. Well, actually, there's three. This one's been filled from October. We have another one from May. That was filled in July with a black candle no less. And there's this giant gap all the way around. What's that? Call it $200. It's almost double. And again, most recent earnings that I saw were fine. They're doing all right. And this low here of 78 looks like a key low, in which case we can expect it to break up was up and away. It will then test these levels in 125, 133 area. But in theory, on a bigger monthly chart offers, yeah, 150. Maybe you could even argue this gap, but not until probably late summer, which is a lifetime away. All right, what else is there? Hmm, Bitcoin. Ooh, it's even, it's even worse than when I left it an hour ago. Bitcoin's currently down 2.5%, 85K. I mean, somebody actually pointed out to me last week, like, look, this is, you can argue this is a multi-week bear flag, right? Whether you want to call it as an A, B, C wave, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is not bullish. And on a momentum chart, which is something I highlighted on X during the day, look at this. Look at this. Momentum's got to turn negative. When momentum turns negative or positive is when you get some of the bigger moves. So Tuesday, Tuesday looks red for crypto and equities. I tell you, the panic will start if you go under 80, because then there's nothing until 74, which is the April low. That was back when S&P was 40, was it 48.35? We could be down at 74K in a matter of 2 days. And an issue would be if crypto's down, that's indirectly it's kind of bearish silver, although that's not working out today though, because silver's up 3%, and then they're not correlated remotely at the moment. Anything else? Yeah, look at this. I know most of you don't care about bond yields, but you should. This is incredible. Jap Japan's almost net 2%. Germany's soon going to be at 3. And America's kind of restrained because remember the Fed are now doing QE of 40 billion a month. So the Fed are restraining bond yields. UK is at 4.52. UK is prone to spiking above 5 at any point for any reason, right? My country is a basket case. Arguably buying UK gilts, as we call them here, but basically bonds, gilts, bunds, all the same, just different names. Um, Buying UK bonds would be arguably the worst thing you could do for this wretched country. I mean, there's no doubt I'd rather have Japanese bonds than the UK for multiple reasons. What else? I don't know. But yeah, frustrating day. Here's the S&P on an hourly. Yeah, I mean, look at this. You can argue, if you're bullish, you can argue this is just consolidation, right? From this 65.21 up to 69.03. You can argue all of this is just chop. Like literally 2.5 weeks now of chop. But in theory, I wouldn't be surprised if we come down to say, you know, I mean, look, 67, actually 67, 65, which would be the lower end of orange gap. That's where the 50-day is. Not on this chart, on a daily. That's just that we could easily gap down to that tomorrow morning. It's not a problem. If you're more bearish, then maybe looking for this threshold because this is kind of a key level around 67.10. Just so happens that the market likes that number. Just this is how it is. That's 90 points down. Because then you got to wonder, well, if we're down around, if we're down around here, silver should be down tomorrow, right? It's got to be down. Look at that. That is the most annoying chart of all today. I can't help it. Silver itself can, I think the pin is around 2 o'clock, not rather than 4. Yeah, commodity silver 3.2%, 63.99. I mean, look, daily momentum's on the high end. But on a week, look at that candle on a weekly chart. I mean, god damn it, it just keeps going, right? It just keeps going. And look at that bullish pattern, right? Gold, of course, looks yeah, it's similar, right? It's a little bit different, but similar structure. I mean, look at these classics. A great chart, actually. Look at this. I haven't marked them all in there because you could put one there. You could put, well, that's more consolidation, but that one was clear. Late 24 played out very well, and then it just went into sideways chop zone from 30. Look, $3,500, and then chopped for about what, 4 months or so, and then off we went, and we just kept going up for what? If you don't include, yeah, if you don't include the first week of the breakout, we went up for what, 3, 6, 7 weeks. So if you don't include that week, we're currently in week 3 up. And you could argue, well, maybe we're due another 3, 4 weeks. That gets us into January. And then where's gold then? 4,500? Maybe we get stuck around 4,500, but you know, can't short gold, right? That would be stupid. And look at it, most of the time, it's another good example. Gold can be overbought for sustained periods, just like a meme stock can, or Nvidia. If you were trying to short gold on the basis that it's overbought, that's pretty stupid. You would be just getting ground out over and over again. Even more so for silver. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's, and again, we're talking 63.99. We are only in the we're literally we're only in month 3 up. Because I start the clock from the breakout above $50. That is a 45-year breakout. So we're in month 3, and we're going to be going up for years. Years. There's no doubt about that. At least to me. Also, that chart's a good example of the 10 MA as support. Look at it. You can barely see the 10 MA because it's overlapping the little rising trend. And there you can see the market spiking over and over again from the 10 MA. Wow. So my guess is we are on track for 70 to 75 by mid-January, which would typically make for a short-term top. You got to wonder if we do have some kind of problem in Q1. Maybe it's not until Q2. Certain stocks actually, like Decker's, United Health, they're suggestive that the market's going to be pretty good in Q1, right? Um, in which case, maybe silver just keeps going. What are we looking at? 100. I mean, above 100, next threshold would be 125, 130 area, which is double. Because if silver was 125, copper would be what? Um, six, at least 675, maybe 7. Anyway, tedious day, frustrating day. Um, I need to get back on the silver train. Oh, I don't want to be left behind. Of course, at the same time, I'm paranoid about buying on a short-term cyclical top. I mean, I was sure as hell wasn't going to buy it today, because that would be stupid. I mean, yeah, this is unclear. If we go above tomorrow, then it's like, oh, okay, fine. Then purple gap can be taken off the menu. But the best scenario would be to take out that low from Friday. But that looks a real stretch. The intermediate target would be to come down early tomorrow morning, fill yellow gap, and kind of floor from around the Bollinger, somewhere around 56. That'd be $2 down. That would negate today, and then resume upwards before the weekend, and then Christmas week will be here and gone before you know it, because it's just a 3.5 day week. And in theory, bullish Christmas week, bullish New Year's week, um, into early January. I mean, hell, look, 3.5% today. Why was silver up that much today? That's a lot. Anyway, I am droning on. I wish you a good evening. Um, Go watch a movie. That'll help. Be good.